The Soviet armed forces find themselves at a bit of an impasse here on the Western Front, or on the European front. Things are quite at a stalemate. The German armed forces are strong, the Soviet armed forces are strong as well, and gaining some strength, but neither one of them has a distinctive upper hand to make any direct moves into the opposing nation's territory. And as thoughts of peace begin to loom in people's minds, the question crosses the Soviet Politburo of if there will be a satisfying conclusion, at least for the communists, in this war, or will the communists find themselves at the bottom of the victor's podium? Welcome all to Global War 1936. We're playing the version 4 YouTube war for Operation Varsity, and I'm playing as the Comintern. And as I mentioned here, this is the first turn on which we begin rolling for the end of the turn variable dice roll ending. So it means that we might not actually see the Soviets winning this game whatsoever. As I understand it, I could be wrong in this, but the victory chart right now shows that the Axis are at 6, the Comintern at 5, and the Allies at 9. So a strong victorious position for the Allies. Now, of course, this isn't fully updated. It could be a little bit different as it is, but realistically, it really depends on the Allies if they knock down the Axis a couple victory points or not, because there's not too much we can do on our end of things. I believe actually the Japanese now have something like 7 having the access to resources and leaving us down here at the very bottom. The Soviet conditions are quite difficult to achieve. The CCP need to win their war. They need to evolve to a major power. In this one here, the Pacific expansion, the Soviets need to capture not only all of Manchukuo, but also have sufficient strength in the seas to capture the Kuril Islands, which is not an easy task. Soviet technological supremacy depends entirely on luck, on technological dice. And then we have access to the Mediterranean, going for Constantinople and capturing that territory. And the European buffer zone is central Romania and Warsaw, so those are a little bit out of our grasps at this point, maybe in a couple turns. Now, we are looking at turn 17, and I do believe on this turn we roll, and on a roll of 1, the game concludes. On this one, I believe it's a roll of 2 or 5, I can't remember, but we don't have that much time ahead of us before the end of the game. But let's start with our tech rolls here. We have 4 color-coded dice here. Let's just throw them right into the chute and see what the results are. We have a 9 over here. Yeah, that's a 9 and a 7. So let's see. A 9 moves us up, and we have advanced mechanized. A 7 for the airborne doctrine gets us to this position as well. And then we have a 1 for the orange and a red. Pink is 8. So we have moved up to this one. And that means we are now at 2 dice. So a 2 increase here for this one. And perhaps next round, if we succeed, we'll get a victory point if we succeed in both these dice rolls. We'll have to see how that pans out for us. And now moving on to the CCP. They have $5 to spend. Now, I just wanted to double check on that one because they have 1 for this Mongolian territory, 2 for Shanxi, and then I believe it's either 1 or 2 for holding on to $2 connected to the Soviet possessed land zone, and by that math we should be at 5. So we're getting infantry and a militia to put on the board. Alright, now let's dive into what they're actually doing for movements. We're going to send 1 infantry marching south to attack Yunnan here. Another one's just a simple walk on into Kwaichao, so we're just going to flip that right now. We have a small attack going into Hopei here with 2 infantry and a fighter. We are going into Yunnan with a fighter and an infantry as well. And I had been thinking about 2 different trajectories, one of them being the CCP taking care of capturing all of Manchukuo territory to evolve to a major power, but that seems to be difficult for them to achieve as well. So instead of doing that, we are going to just leave them to it and leave the Russians to take it out. So those are our attacks for these guys. So we have 1 roll at militia, another militia here. Let's do this one in Yunnan first, I think. So that's 1 infantry and 1 aircraft. So infantry and an aircraft at 6 against 1 enemy unit. Alright, oopsie daisy. The laptop's a trifle far from me. Okay, attack into mountain zone. Basically, it's just the fighter that has a chance of hitting at 1, and look at that, they both actually hit. Nice. Now it really depends on if this unit hits at a 2 or less, and if it succeeds, it misses. So we've captured that territory. Yunnan now belongs to the CCP. And 1, 2, I believe we will send our fighter to land. in Suyan, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if it can. If it started here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it can't. So we're gonna. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's what we'll do. In Shensi. And now these guys here, 2 infantry. One of them's gonna cross a river, and the other one will not. Yeah, one of them will cross the river. So this one gets a slightly more complex. And rolling this one here for the militia. So we succeeded with 1 hit, and they missed and rolled a 10. So there we have it. We've captured Hope from the enemy. Now, of course, all these territories can be easily recaptured by opponents if they so choose to do so. But for right now, we're just picking up some extra territory for the fun of it. Okay, non-combat, we're going to move this guy to Suyan. Yesh. This infantry is going to walk to Suyan as well. Actually, you know what? We're going to keep these purely defensive. So they're going to simply come in here. We don't want to tempt fate too much. These 2 infantry are going to march down to Suyan as well. So that leaves us 3 infantry and 2 up here. Alright. 2 fighters there as well. Okay, that takes care of all of our stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have a dice roll at 11 to get our recruitment roll. I'm going to just roll this pink one. 11 or less, and we got a 4, so we succeeded there. And we're going to select an infantry. And we're going to put him over here. Oh, I forgot one more non-combat. This guy's going to walk from Tibet to Sinkang, right there. So we have each a couple units into each of those territories. Now I'm still ridiculously weak at this stage, but whatever. We'll just kind of go with whatever happens. Units put on the board. So we have these 2 units. I think go get those 2 right there. That sets us up for any possible future, if those KMT decide to attack us here. Although I think it's more likely for them to move towards Kwangtung, because this doesn't really give them any benefits. So maybe I will put this guy up here in Suyan, threatening Beiping. No, we'll keep him down here. Sorry about that. A little bit of a switcheroo. Switching back and forth and back and forth. Let's put him up there. Last time. Sichuan. Okay, there we have it. Alright, so that takes care of their stuff. How much money do they have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $5 plus the 2 they get from the Soviets brings them up to 7. Alright, now we're looking at the Soviets. They're going to lend these a fighter across to the CCP, so that brings them up to 3 fighters. And the rest of it, they get their International Brigade, 3 infantry. Oh, one of these should be an airborne. That's why I didn't do that. Where's my airborne? Here we go. I think it fell off the table or something like that. There we have it. Some units present there. Okay. So 2 Katyushas, 2 T-34s, 2 advanced artillery, 4 infantry, and 1 airborne unit. Alright. Let's go over their attacks. They're going to attack Ankara with 4 infantry and a T-34. And they're going to attack Karadeniz with 2 infantry and a T-34 as well. We're going to attack up here with 1 infantry, 1 militia, and from Smolensk we're sending a 1, 2. We're sending these 2 units to Smolensk to attack that infantry. Those are our attacks. And now we're going to send our seaplane once again to attack. Oops. Seaplane to attack this sea zone. That submarine's going to attack that sea zone. This sea zone is going to be attacked. This entire fleet, barring 1 destroyer, is going to attack A-14. The Finnish coastal defense ship. I'd hoped they would move away, but they decided not to. Or perhaps they forgot. But either way, we're not standing for it. So they have essentially 1 shot at taking us out. And if they don't take us out, then, well, that's the nature of the beast. Alright. Then we have our transport plane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Yeah, we're going to send an airborne unit. Can we do that? Maybe that's out of range. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, we can't do that. Alright, well, in that case, we're just going to pick up an infantry and drop them off a little bit closer to the front lines. So that's going to be, this transport plane is going to go 1, 2, oh, we'll just grab an airborne unit. But that'll come in afterwards, I suppose that's non-combat. Alright. Let's go our little combat. So this one over here, 1 at 2, 1 at 1, and then we have 2 fighters at 6. So let's bring this in there. 1 at 2, 1 at 1, 2 fighters at 6. Against, they have 1 infantry rolling at 4. Okay, 1 fighter hit, that's all we need. And 1 of their units hit as well at a 3. So we're going to take off our militia. Take off this. Take off their dude. Come on. And the fighter's going to land here in Kiev. Infantry's going to march into that territory. And I'm going to move... These 2 T-34s. Oh, oops, sorry guys. One last thing. So I remember why I didn't put this guy up here. It's because I was going to immediately purchase an airfield. Yep, that's what it was. Sorry about that. That's what the whole purpose was. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so I'm going to move these 2 tanks down south here. Now, of course, I haven't counted the pips on any of this, so I could be completely off. My opponent might be able to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He might be able to reach all the way from back here somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so he can hit me with everything from Bessarabia, Romania, even East Poland into this territory here. But you know what? That's just the way it is right now. We will have to see how he plays it out. These 2 militia are going to move down south here. Sorry, I'm already going into the non-combat, so let me just quickly rewind this. Let me rewind it all. Was that 2 infantry? No, it was 1 militia. Okay, I'll just leave it at this, and then we'll go back to it. If we decide to change it up, then we'll change it up. But for right now, we'll leave it. Okay, battle over here. These 4 units and the T-34 against 1 militia. So he's going to be rolling dice like that. The T-34 is going to be rolling a 5. And then I have 4 infantry into the city. Now keep in mind also he's rolling... It's infantry in the city. So he's rolling a 5. So these are my rolls. This is his. 1 hit. And 1 hit. So he takes off 1 of my infantry. And the rest of them move into this territory. And up here we have another hit against this Kara Deniz. And that means he's rolling it. I think I have 2 militia there. Yeah, 2 infantry and a T-34. So 2 infantry, T-34 against his militia. Miss, 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 and miss. Okay, on to round 2. Miss 1 hit, and nothing. So we've captured this territory adjacent to the Caspian Ocean. Alright. Now let's do these attacks against those units there in the water. Okay. So we have a black dice here and a red dice. Okay, so we are going to roll red for the attacker, and this is for the seaplane. Looks like the red didn't make it down. Sometimes the red does that. 6. Okay, so we've maxed out that one already. It could be maxed out with 3. There we have it. And this submarine here. Okay. Sometimes the dice sixes like to stay up there. So the attacker hits them for 1. Unless they got, I believe, radar or something. But yeah, we only got them for 1. So a total of 4 damage there. And now we're attacking this Finnish coastal ship. So I have a heavy cruiser, 2 destroyers, and a torpedo boat destroyer. Heavy, light, and 2 torpedo boat destroyers. Sorry for the notifications there on the side. 6, and on mine, heavy, I believe it's 2 destroyers, 1 torpedo boat, and 1 light. So it's really just a question of if my 1 heavy unit, 2-3 hits, and then on his end he hit me once. So that Finnish coastal defense ship is out of the water, destroyed. The Finns have put up quite the vicious fight this game. I've always been incredibly impressed. Like almost anything that could hit has hit. It's just been very dramatic in that sense. Okay, I believe that's all of our hits here. Now we look at the Eastern Front. I didn't really specify what was going on the Eastern Front. So 2 infantry and are marching south to Western Manchuria. Sorry about this, guys. Then we have 2 cavalry and an infantry marching to Northern Manchuria. This fighter's coming down here to Eastern Manchuria with these 3 units. And these 4 units, plus a fighter, are coming to Primorsky Krai to liberate that territory. Yep. So let's start with a simple one. 2 at 1 versus 1 at 2. 2 at 1 and 1 at 2. This has the potential of being a slightly longer battle. Oopsie daisy. Well, okay, we'll just go with that for now. Miss and miss. Now, because that was just a mountainous border, so now everything's rolling at 2, and the whites are my dice at 2. There's 1 hit, and that's all we needed. So that territory is captured and handed over to these fellows, the Soviets. Now we're going to look at up north here, 2 at 2 and 1 at 1. So, sorry, 2 at 1 and 1 at 2, and my opponent has 1 at 2. Okay, miss, 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 and miss as well. Okay, so now everything's bumped up 1. So the whites are now at 2, and the teal is now at a 3. Or maybe I have that backwards. Yeah, I'll just double check, because if memory serves, it was 2 cavalry going into that territory. Yeah, 2 cavalry and 1 infantry, so it should be the other way around. Whites are at 3, and the teal is at 2. But so far, nobody scored a hit anyways. So let's see what round 3 has to offer us. Miss, 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 and miss. So round 3, that's a 9, in case you didn't catch that. Now we're moving on to round 4. Miss all around, and he scored a miss with a 7 over here. Round 5. Miss is all around, that's a 7, and that's 11 on this end. Okay, I feel good about this one, and I miss on everything, and he misses on everything. This has got to be something like round 6 at this point. A 4, and a 6, and a 12, and a 9 on his end. So again, nothing on this round. Now statistically, we're way off. Okay, there's my cavalry hitting at 1, and he missed at 12. Alright, so we've captured this territory as well. Now, hopefully these other battles don't take as long, because I think it will be detrimental to us. Now, he doesn't have anything that can scramble there. So infantry and a militia versus my 2 infantry, cavalry, and a fighter. So that one's a little bit more difficult to set up. Let's see. 2 infantry. Wrong dice. 2 infantry, a cavalry, and a fighter versus his infantry and militia. Okay, so 1 for that one, and 1 hit only, and 1 hit on him. So we're going to take off one of our white dice, and we're going to take off his teal dice, meaning we are now on somewhat of a scarier footing. Okay, that hit our fighter, and he missed. So we take out our second hit. And place that there. So one of our infantry is dead. Okay, now we have a slightly bigger battle. 2 infantry against my 4 infantry. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. And this is 4 rounds of combat, so I suspect I'm going to take a bit more of a beating. I'll lose at least 2 units here. I wouldn't be surprised if I lost 3. 1, 2, 3. Never mind. 4 hits. And 1 hit on them. Alright, so that is quite lovely. And we managed to liberate Primorsky Krai once again. So, these guys came 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll land them back here. Where's my other fighter? There it is. For non-combat moves on this end, we're going to move these 2 infantry to Chita. We're going to move these 2 infantry to Central Mongolia. And that about takes care of everything on this end. Yes. Alright. So before I forget, let's quickly adjust the income tracker. Because we took out 3 Manchukuo territories and Primorsky Krai. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and that. So that's $5 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we took out a territory from the Brits in Ankara. Because we took out one of the our eastern or western Poland back again, so that means we have that 55. Yeah, and now for the CCP, because they captured Yunnan and Hopei. Is that right? 2 for Shensi, Suyan, Hopei, Yunnan. I should only be at 5. Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. Okay, for Karulan. 1 more, 6. And the Japanese lost Hopei, and they lost Yunnan, so they're at 41. Okay, now let's continue on with our non-combat. We did all this side. Let's scroll over to this side here. Starting from this end here, we're going to move this airborne unit down to Leningrad and move one of our infantry up to Viipuri province. We're going to fly this back down to here. We're going to fly this Soviet fighter 1, 2, 3, 4 and land in Kiev. We're going to move this northern Belarusian militia up to Leningrad, and this one from Smolensk to northern Belarusia. This infantry is staying here. Where is he? No, we're going to fly the air transport going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so the air transport's going to simply drop off one of the infantry into here. So that leaves us with a nice tidy 5, 6, 6, and then we're going to move our anti-aircraft gun down. Then we're going to move our 2 T-34s down to this position as well. And we are going to non-combat move these infantry to eastern Ukraine and these 2 militia here as well. This militia is going to move up 1 space and this militia down 1 space to Oral Kursk. These 2 infantry from Smolensk to southern Belarusia. Kaluga Oblast and Moscow, we move those 2 up. We're going to send, oh, that could stay there. I know the French are doing some interesting things there, but I haven't been watching that too closely. For all I know, they might declare war on the Soviets and capture my factory and all this other good stuff, but just at this point, we shall have to see. These 2 guys are going to rail all the way south to this territory here. So, doing up the math and having a quick calculations, 2 fighters can hit me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That could hit me. Those 2 can hit me as well. So 3, 4, 5 fighters. And these guys, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. 22 plus these guys and this one. So 11, 12 plus 5. 17. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I mean, I have a lot of... Wait, 15, 16, 17, 17. We have the same amount of combat units. Mine are just more higher valued. He's got a lot of low tier stuff. My anti-aircraft gun could take off a lot of damage from his. Yeah, it's a tough one. I have half a mind to just leave it here and risk fate in this case. No, you know what? I'm simply gonna rebase myself out of Kiev. So everything here is moving to Kiev. Everything I said was going down south is actually going to come here instead. So I'm going to set up a little chart here. Sorry about the little running around. But I don't want to lose any potential army I'm building here. That'll all just go there. We're going to leave 1 infantry behind, just because I think it's worthwhile doing. Oh, that means there's 5 out here. My mouse is not... Okay, this will all have to wait until later on, because I'm having trouble organizing all this. And I fear I moved something from here. Hey. Mechanized. And yeah, I'll organize it and double check what I did later on. But yeah, that's all going there, leaving southern Ukraine and western Ukraine free. Okay, that is about it. So let's just put our units on the map. All these guys are coming into this territory here. I'm putting in these 2 units, advanced artillery, and they're going to be placed here in Transcaucasus. One last thing, I'm going to move this guy north from North Caucasus to Transcaucasus. And this guy has to be placed in Moscow, and this CCP fighter has to be placed in Shanghai over here. And that will about do it for all of our moves. Okay, sorry for the messy turn, and I'm going to review it with my opponents later on, and that will be it. Cheers!